there's no doubt Eddie hit him to the back of the head at one point. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Mhm.
But see, all of this is where people start to lose it because everything's not black and white in this world.
Mhm.
Okay. Even when I taught for LAPD, I would tell the first thing I would tell the people in the class, look, the only thing black and white is the stupid car you're going to drive. Everything else in this world that you're going to deal with is gray. And it's your ability to figure it out and work it out in that gray area. And this is where let's talk about what happened with the referee. The referee is responsible. If I was the referee, or if it was Herb, or if it's the referee of that fight, you are supposed to go in the back, and you can verify this. If I went in the back, I talked to you about a little bit about rules, the ones that are important, the ones that seem to take place more often than anything else. So, grounded fighter is something we'll kind of cover. I'll talk to you about when I'm going to say you're down, when you're not. I'm going to talk to you about the back of the head, what it is, what I'm going to say to you if you hit the back of the head, what I'm going to say to you if you hit the back of the head, but it's on your opponent, and what I expect from you from that point forward. All of these things that we go over, it's called bout conduct. What I'm going to say to you if you're in trouble, and what I expect from you, and all these different things. Because if you want to be successful as a referee in the front, which means in the cage, you need to be successful with what you do in the back. I don't know what was done in the back. I don't know if anything was done. There was a, one-on-one with the fighter or not. I don't know if that's what was done with one here, but it should be. It always should be. And this is one of the reasons why, because in this situation, the first thing you really got to look at is when Eddie takes Lapicus down, he laces the legs a la a Khabib. He really works towards lacing those legs, picking the legs up off the ground so he can keep him in that position. But look, you got to look and see exactly where is Eddie's head, because Eddie's head is up and he's using it kind of like I say as a third arm, and it's right up against his opponent. And so to think that he can just see exactly what is going on, he can't. And so the rule is you cannot no directed strikes to the back of the head. And the back of the head is from the crown of the head, which is that little nodule that everyone has that's like a little divot in your head. It goes straight down, all the way down your spine with a 1-inch variance to each side. So it's a 2-inch space. Okay. Now it also covers the neck. So from where that occipital junction, your skull and your spine connect, all the neck area there to your trapezius, stay off of that. So he does, as you're starting to get to the point near the end of it, yeah, he does hit it. But this is incumbent upon the referee to do the right thing to make sure that Eddie understands that his opponent is turning his head, because Eddie's not able to see this. It's not like, he's looking over him. We had one in Bellator where Dan Miragliotta takes points, but the fighter is looking down at the head and can see exactly where they're striking. The fighter is responsible for where they strike. But in this situation, Eddie has got his head placed up and he's looping shots from the side. Directed means you're coming straight at it. When a fighter is looping a shot, it's telling you that he's trying to hit the ear. So he's hitting the head and hitting the ear because that's why he's looping that shot in. And if his opponent starts to turn their head, then if the opponent turns their head and Eddie hits that spot, you tell him, watch the back of the head. And in the back, you've told him, when I say watch the back of the head, what I'm telling you is you just struck the back of the head, but it's on your opponent because he turned his head into it, which caused it. But I need you at this moment to redirect to either another target or use another type of weapon so you can continue on with your attack. So I expect you to either switch hands, go to a hammer fist, switch targets, any of those things. Just do not come back with another shot to that same area, or now it's going to be upon you.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But that's not what happened here. And you can see that Eddie, at a point when he hears the referee, he goes from this trying to loop shots to he turns into a hammer fist, which is telling you, oh, you want me to change? And he starts to do it. And the referee comes in and says, that's to the back of the head. So.
Yeah. I got the feeling and the vibe that Lapicus didn't want to be there anymore.
Oh, no.
That's the vibe and the feeling I got. The other thing as well is the ref didn't have to DQ him. He could
No,
have
he did not.
stopped it, stood them back up, taken a point, or given them a stern warning, whatever it was, and made him start from a standing position again. I mean, you could have looked at it in a bunch of different ways. There was no reason for him to DQ him.
And this, what one of the things that needs to be understood by all officials, and the top guys, they get this, for the guys that want to get into that position and want to be the guy. Okay, you guys need to understand you have a responsibility to a lot more than your understanding. You have a responsibility to those fighters. You have a responsibility to your commission if you have one. You have a responsibility to the promotion, and you have a responsibility to the fans of MMA and the sport of MMA, that you're going to do something that's reasonable within what you can do. Just to take a championship fight and throw up a red card or to disqualify somebody, you're not using your brain.
Yeah.
You're not being reasonable, and you're not thinking about the full context of what you have. You have limited power in certain areas to do things, and you try to just lend that out in a judicious fashion. You don't become the judge, jury, and executioner unless you have to, and you need to figure out, was Eddie Alvarez attempting to foul Lapicus? No, he was not attempting to foul.
Yeah.
And so there's no intent there. If Eddie Alvarez has Lapicus in this and has his face against it, and then turns over and bites his nose, then Eddie Alvarez needs to be disqualified, because that is something that is just way outside of the sport, way outside of the rules. But to think that a fighter knows exactly where everything is landing, or where they're at, or where their opponent's at, man, you're asking too much of fighters. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Do you always know exactly where your shot's landing or exactly where your opponent is? No, you don't. You don't know do I know if he's up or down? I don't. So I'm not going to do something a lot of times, but you don't know exactly that position. And you can't expect that upon people in all these situations.
100% agree.